Hey guys, what's up? Dingo Crikey here with another commentary video, and in this one I'm going to be giving some commentary on the recent Titans Return figures that were revealed at Botcon 2016. Basically going to be kind of analyzing and forming opinions about these figures to a backdrop of the images. So let's get started, and we'll begin with the Deluxe class figures. The first one we have is Highbrow. Here we have Highbrow in robot mode. Objectively analyzing, I don't really have a whole lot to say about this guy. He does have his unique traits such as the wings on the feet and then on the upper arms, but he looks pretty standard for a Titans Return figure. We do also have the fact that the upper arms and the lower arms both look to be kind of hollow, so that's a little bit annoying. Will probably be the case with the legs as well. You know, that's something we have a lot these days, or at least it seems to be the case, but with this guy it just seems really evident. I don't know, maybe it's just because his upper arms are so big. Also, the wings on the upper arms look pretty stationary, so it's kind of disappointing. I don't know, you can probably tell I'm just not feeling too keen on this figure, which is kind of a disappointment because I was long looking forward to Highbrow. For whatever reason, he was always one of my favorite headmasters, and this figure just looks okay. I maybe would have preferred a Voyager Class with him because he feels pretty condensed. I don't know, it looks like he should be bigger, but they just kind of like smushed him down into a Deluxe class size. But, you know, maybe some people like this figure. That's just my personal opinions, not really feeling it, but I will get it, review it when it comes out, all of that. Anyways, taking a look at the vehicle mode, I mean, in my opinion, this is also not super impressive. I feel like it's a cool design, having the dual rotors on the vehicle, the cannons underneath, the way the cockpit area looks, all looks like it could be cool. I just feel like he really could have benefited from a Voyager class figure. I mean, obviously Hasbro are the designers, so, you know, trust they know what they're doing, and some people may really like this figure. That's totally fine. Personally, I'm just not feeling it. Here are some additional images. Here we have his Titan Master in head mode. His head sculpt is pretty cool looking. It's a pretty basic head. It is pretty accurate to at least like the Dreamwave artwork of his head sculpt, and I'm assuming his original G1 design, so that's pretty cool. There we have the Titan Master. There we have like them showing the cockpit, which is pretty cool. They are doing some pretty nice detail there, but you know, it is going to result in these parts of the vehicles being more clunky, you know, because they have to make it big enough to fit that little guy in there. I guess since they're already going to be more simplistic, since that seems to be the direction Hasbro's going in, why not add a feature like this? And that's kind of the way I'm feeling about it now. The figure would probably be designed sort of like this anyway, so I think this is a really cool additional feature. And next we have Deluxe class Wolfwire, aka Weird Wolf. The detailing all throughout on the legs, the arms, the body, all looks pretty consistent, and it's his own thing, which is cool. Sets him apart from the rest of them. The legs seem to have a little bit more of a natural shape to them, so that's pretty cool as well. We do see the upper legs look to be somewhat hollow, but the upper arms look pretty solid from these images, so that is really appreciated. Same with the lower arms, really cool looking there. The colors are different, that's a way to put them. Personally, I like them, but I could see some people finding them a little bit distasteful. He has a sword, not a whole lot to say there. This guy does have the blocky look of a lot of the modern Transformers. There we have him in beast mode. I think this is really cool looking. Now it does look pretty similar to his robot mode. Nevertheless, I think it works. Body design's pretty nice. He's got a cool cannon on top. The head looks pretty stationary, but at least it has a nice design. One of the things that I'm really liking is how the feet of this beast look like they're on ball joints, so we'll have a lot of articulation there. We might also get some swivel in the middle of the leg. I guess we'll have to see, but there we have the sword being used as a tail. I feel like it makes more sense as a tail. It has that, you know, shape that a lot of dog tails will have, so that's pretty cool. One more thing I wanted to mention is the paint we have on the claws. Really nice touch. I'm curious to see if that's going to be in the finished version of the figure, because it doesn't really look like something they'd usually add, but I really hope so. There we have a look at the head. It's okay. Kind of would have preferred to have the visor painted, but I do believe that's the way the original head looked, so maybe some people are happy with it this way. And then there's a look at the Titan Master. There we have a close-up look at him in the Beast mode. I think this is a kind of cool way of incorporating him into, the alternate mode, even though it's a beast. Body's probably the best place to do it, and he's definitely a robotic beast, so it doesn't conflict with the overall aesthetic. Overall, I think Wolfwire's pretty cool looking. Next, we have all of these heads. I don't really have a whole lot to say about them, but I'll give you guys a look. There we have Ape Face. There's Brawn, kind of cool that they gave him a Brawn looking expression. There we have Clobber, which looks very similar to Grimlock. And there we have Skytread. And then we move on to the Voyager Class figures, beginning with Alpha Trion. This guy's definitely interesting looking because he has that original Alpha Trion aesthetic, but this time he has a touch of the wild side as he, obviously turns into a beast. As you can see, those lion heads and the claws. I guess you could say he has a blocky look, but I think it would be better defined as a very bulky look. I think it works well in this guy's case. He's got those big lion heads as his shoulders, a very enormous torso, almost kind of fat looking, and personally I don't really mind, but some people may find that to be a problem. Legs aren't quite as bulky, but they still kind of carry on that look. Unlike some figures such as Highbrow, I think he also has a pretty good distribution of colors. All throughout we have the silver, the pink, and the purple. No area really looks just, plagued with one single color. So not only does he have a lot of little intricate details, especially on the chest there, but a lot of them are colored differently. He has that orb at the center of his body, and then he has a sword. The sword looks pretty cool, orb nice as well. I'm betting that this guy will be repainted, maybe remolded, definitely repainted as Vector Prime from Transformers Cybertron. I'll have to see if I'm right about that, but I could definitely see one of those coming. The mold itself actually looks a little bit more like Vector Prime in my opinion. One more thing I wanted to touch on was the head sculpt. Now, if you look at the center of the head, I believe that is the part that is actually the Titan Master. All of that bulk around it, such as the horns, I believe that's something that's going to flip and attach to the core of the head. There we have him in lion mode. Not particularly crazy about this myself. For one, whereas in the robot mode we had really nice distribution of colors, we can see that the core of the body is just solid pink for a little while until we get into the back legs. Then we got a whole bunch of purple, and altogether the way the back legs are shaped, it doesn't really look like a lion. It definitely looks pretty contrived in my opinion. Now the lion head itself still looks really cool to me. Now I believe his hands form the lower jaw, so that'll be interesting to see if he's going to be able to open his mouth or not. Sword as the tail definitely doesn't really work for me, so the lion mode's not the strongest, but this guy is a triple changer, so I think you can give him a little bit more leeway. And here we have his third mode, which is a spaceship. Not a whole lot to say. Looks like a futuristic spaceship, definitely kind of reminiscent of Sentinel Prime's spaceship mode. It's got a lot of details, not a whole lot of them colored, kind of similar to what we had with Sentinel Prime. He does look like he has more kibble from the lion mode, as you can see the claws on the side. This really does bother some people. For me, it would be nice if it were hidden, but it does look like a Cybertronian vehicle, so it's not as big of a deal if it looks like he's not in full disguise or anything. Overall, I'm not too crazy about either of the alternate modes for this guy. I think the robot mode looks really strong from the images. The alternate modes don't look too great. They're not like a deal breaker, but they're just okay. There we have a look at the head. Some pretty cool detailing there. Definitely a very distinctive Alpha Trion look. There we have the Titan Master himself. And last, we finish up with Voyager Class Astrotrain, who, to no surprise, is a repaint and retool of Sentinel Prime. And I think that most people would agree this is a great choice for Astrotrain, even though it is a repaint. It actually looks like the mold was probably intended for Astrotrain originally. Getting the negatives out of the way, because I don't really think there's many of them. It's really just the ugly pointy shoes. I'm not liking those, but the rest of him looks really cool. His body is very reminiscent of the traditional Astrotrain look, but this time he's like 10 times bulkier than we usually see Astrotrain being, which in my opinion is cool. You know, Classics gave us, you know, their take on Astrotrain, and 10 years later we're getting a much more buff look. The head sculpt, while Astrotrain usually isn't headmaster, and I know that makes some people upset, I would say at least they got the head sculpt right. I mean, the face looks very reminiscent of traditional Astrotrain. Some other things, outside of the feet, I think the legs look good. I really like all the painting they did, you know, the switching between the white and black, really cool. The color scheme isn't super loud or eye-catching, but it works really nicely for this mold, probably better than Sentinel Primes. In fact, some people may really like this color scheme because some people don't like those really loud ones like Sentinel Prime was, you know, being like really bold orange with red and yellow. Also, he has his own weapons, which is very cool to see. There we have his alternate mode, which looks really nice for Astrotrain. As with Sentinel Prime, we don't have a whole lot of kibble or anything like that sticking out. This mode looks pretty solid, and it looks like it was made for Astrotrain. Maybe I would have liked some more detailing on the front to make it look as if there was an actual like cockpit up there. And I mean, they didn't even color it on this one, so that's pretty disappointing. But other than that, I think it looks pretty good. Next mode is of course the train, not the stronger of the two modes in my opinion, but it does its job and works pretty well as a train, especially considering he has two other modes. I think they pulled this off pretty well, but kind of covered a lot of the aesthetical things with Sentinel Prime. I think the colors look pretty good on this guy. Once again, there's nothing really that stands out here. Even in the robot mode, we had some yellow and red bits. Here it's pretty much gray or white, however that turns out on the final figure. We have purple and black, and it comes together pretty nicely in my opinion. I'm really glad they did end up using this for Astrotrain. There we have a close-up look at his head, and there is his Titan Master. And that's all I have to say about these figures. I know this probably wasn't my best commentary, but I really didn't feel as though I had a whole lot to say about these guys, especially since Astrotrain and Alpha Trion, we've been kind of looking at them for a little while now, so even though they're the good ones, kind of already knew what we were getting there. Anyways, if you would like to see more commentary videos like this, you can keep up with the channel. You can go back through some of my older videos. I plan to do figure reviews for these figures when they come out, but until then, I have some figure reviews of, you know, previous Transformer toys. Right now I'm doing a whole bunch of throwback reviews, so feel free to suggest figures for reviews, anything like that. You can also follow me on Twitter for more regular updates. Anyways, thanks for watching, stay tuned, and have a good one, guys. I'll see you soon.